going to draw some winter landscapes today. So to start with, we're going to actually start with our ground and our snow. So you'll be using a white pastel or a white crayon. The general idea is that you are going to make a ground line for your tree to stand on and some snow falling in the air. So if you were to do this on colored paper, it would look like this, but because we are doing it on white paper, it's a little harder for you to see. But the main thing is that whatever ground line you make, you want to be pushing as hard as you can when you start to color that in. You want to try to fill your paper, or at least the section that you've made for your ground, pushing nice and hard so that you're coloring it in and there's barely any leftover paper. So that when we paint over this, the snow stays nice and white. When you go to do your snowflakes and drops, you're just gonna take and push hard to make your little snow dots. And you wanna put those kind of all over. The idea is that the pastel will resist the water and it will push away the paint so the white will stay the white of the pastel. So again, you're just going through filling it. Like I said, some area when you're pushing, the background will stay the white of the paper, and when we paint it, it'll be whatever color we paint. Once you have that done, it's time to work on your winter trees. You can make as many as you want, but you need at least one. A general rule is to start with the trunk itself. So you can start with a nice long line that comes down into your ground line a little bit. You might want to make this 2 or 3 fingers wide so you have a nice thick tree. You may want to do a thin tree as well, where your trunk is going to be a little bit more narrow, and as it comes closer to the ground, it flares out a little bit to be a little bit wider. Just like with the skinny tree, the thicker tree is also going to be solid. So you're gonna push hard with your brown pastel or your crayon to color in. As you come down to this ground line, it's gonna mix with the white a little bit, and that's okay because it'll just look like the tree has fallen snow on top of it. If you're pushing really hard, your pastel will break, and that's okay. Broken pastels still color. You can peel off the other end or use this piece. Now trees, we know, we just talked about, flare out from there. And then you have your letter Y. So you can start to draw long lines. These could be branches of your tree. Even on your little guy, you can make long branches. And then you want to make these branches get a little bit fatter as they come to the trunk. So you're going to make them kind of like a triangle. They go really thick to that really thin branch. And they can go right off the page if you need them to as well. So as they're connected together, you start to get that V shape of your branches. Once you have those triangular shaped branches where some go too thicker to thinner, then you can start to make your Ys. When you do your letter Ys, they can come out off of a branch. They can go sideways. You might even have a Y off of a Y. But think about how many different branches you would see on a winter tree. So you can have some that are overlapping. One might crisscross and go on front of another. Thinking about how a tree is full of branches. So I'm going to be pushing hard with this pastel to keep my Ys. Sometimes you might even want to just put a little line that comes out to the side so that it's almost like a Y on top of a Y. Once you have completed all of your Ys, it's time to go back to that white pastel just to add fresh fallen snow on your trees. Inside the V shape that the Ys form, you want to put just coloring in some snow. And along each of the limbs, just push hard and draw like a line right on the top branch. And you won't see the magic until you start to paint. So really push hard. You really want to watch what you're doing. If you turn your paper kind of sideways, you can see the white a little bit better. But the fun happens when we paint. And remember, your sky color can be any color. Some people may want to still make their sky color blue, and that's okay. You're gonna get your brush wet. I'm gonna move my paint so hopefully you can see it a little bit better. Really load up that color. The more you put the color, the brighter it's going to be. And with this technique, you want a lot of paint and a lot of water. As you are painting, you are going to start at one side and literally paint right over top of your trees, and you'll see that that paint is pushed away, and anything that is white will stay white. So I can start going across my sky like this, painting with my paint, painting with my water. I'm gonna go right over top my branches. Every so often I get more water on my brush, and you'll see that line I made with my white pastel is staying white. But remember, your sky does not have to be blue, and don't stop at the top. It goes all the way down to the ground. I'm gonna do some fun mixing and making it look like a sunset by maybe making my next color my purple, and then bringing my purple up into my blue. The trick is to keep a lot of water on your brush and move fast so that you are mixing those colors together. You can keep the sunset kind of theme going if you go quickly and keep a stripe across the sky, do the whole and go to the next color and follow the color wheel order. That could be really fun. So I'm gonna bring this red up and mix it with the purple a little bit, and it starts to look like the sun is setting on a cold winter's day. And look at all my little snowdrops are staying. You can see them. You have to be careful about going over the same spot too many times, or you can wipe away the pastel. So lay down your color fast with lots of color, lots of water to make this really fun, beautiful winter landscape. Even in your snow, the sky is reflected in the snow, so you can paint over your snow, like I said, with the same sky colors that you did, and it will only soak in to where it was your empty spaces, and you'll have a beautiful winter landscape.